Hello again. We know, because the Chancellor of the Exchequer has told us, that there is a black hole at the heart of this country's finances. It amounts, or so it is claimed, to £22 billion, a not inconsiderable sum. Since the situation is so grave that winter fuel payments for old age pensioners have had to be scrapped to prevent the economy from collapsing, I thought that it might be in the public interest for me to point out other ways that savings might perhaps be made. In the last week, almost 2,000 illegal immigrants or asylum seekers, depending upon which term you prefer, have arrived in Britain after crossing the English Channel. On August the 28th, there were 614, the following day 211, and on the 30th of August, another 408. Then on September the 2nd, 351 came, and the following day another 317. In the description to this video I give a link to the government's own website, which provides these figures. That means that 1,901 people landed here in the last week, people who have never paid a single penny to this country in national insurance payments or taxes. They will be accommodated at the expense of taxpayers like me in hotels. The average cost per person was quoted last year at £127 a day for this accommodation, although it's come to light subsequently that this is a gross underestimate. Let's go with that figure though. This would mean that just those people who came here in the course of the last week would need £241,427 worth of accommodation tonight. That's just for one night. Almost £250,000, that is to say. In the next week, the bill for putting them up will be £1,689,989. That is to say, approaching £1.75 million for just that 1 week's worth of people for a week. The bill in the coming year will be £88,120,855. Or, to look at it another way, you could use that money to pay 440,604 pensioners their winter fuel allowance from what those people will cost in the coming year. You could pay the winter fuel allowance, in other words, to people who had spent 35 to 50 years working and paying national insurance contributions. Of course, those people that landed last week will be entitled to free medical care on the National Health Service, to which they have not contributed a penny. The average GP now has something around 2,000 patients on his list. So that's a single week's quota of asylum seekers who will need to deprive the NHS of a GP just to attend to their needs. I could go on, but I'm sure that you get the point. Remember, if you will, that I am talking about just the people who have arrived here across the Channel in the last 7 days. One can have a welfare state, or one can have open borders. One or the other, but not both.